I'm Rolika Roach, and welcome to the Live Council of Ministers press briefing for today, Wednesday, October 10th, 2018. At this time, I invite the Minister of Education, Culture, Youth and Sport, the Honorable Wycliffe Smith, to address you. Minister Smith?
Thank you, Ms. Roach. Greetings to all gathered here this morning. Madam Prime Minister, Honorable Minister, Department of Communications, members of the press, as well as those listening and viewing this press briefing via radio, television, or social media. Good morning, Sualiga. Today, exactly 8 years ago, St. Martin became a constituent state within the Dutch Kingdom. On this 8th anniversary of the attainment of our autonomous status within the Kingdom, I'm reminded of the opening sentence of our Constitution, which states, "We, the people of St. Martin, affirm that we acknowledge the guiding principles of Almighty God as the core of our values." This phrase was drawn from the very roots of our culture. May we all embrace this affirmation in our daily lives as citizens, namely, that we, as a people, be guided daily by godly principles as we seek to realize our goals as individuals, as government, and as a people of this beautiful island. Let us live out our Constitution in a real way and acknowledge the guiding principles of Almighty God as the core of our values. The month of October has been named Black Achievement Month in the Netherlands. Many of our Caribbean people are featured and are participating in this month of activities. We too celebrate their achievements with them, as well as with all those who are making a significant difference to improve our life and our way of life. And of course, we hope that soon we'll also have persons from St. Martin featured during the Black Achievement Month in the Netherlands. Last Saturday, it was my honor to greet and to welcome home the St. Martin 16 and under baseball team as they returned from the Kingdom Games in Aruba. In the annual tournament hosted by the Ministry of Justice of the Netherlands, St. Martin scored 15-0 against the Netherlands, 14-0 against Bonaire, and 3-1 against Curaçao. When the final game against the host country, Aruba, was cancelled due to the field becoming too wet for play, the organizers for the games assessed St. Martin as the team with the leading scores, most discipline, and overall top performance. As a result, the St. Martin baseball team was awarded the 2018 trophy for the Kingdom Games. We are proud of our athletes and how well this team represented St. Martin in Aruba. Our youth are exceptional, and with the right support, there's no limit on what they can accomplish. We must encourage them, their coaches, and organizations like the St. Martin Baseball Academy that are dedicated to improving sports on our island, because sports matter. Last Friday was celebrated worldwide as International Teachers' Day. As I said before, teachers are deserving of daily sentiments of appreciation from students, parents, and from the wider community. Teachers are the ones who lay the foundation for us and for our future generations. Let us continue to honor our teachers and shower them with our gratitude. Also last week, the St. Martin School Bus Owners Association celebrated 50 years of service to our community. Several of the older bus drivers were acknowledged and recognized for their faithfulness and for their dedication to transporting our students. The St. Martin School Bus Owners Association is also very proud of their safety record over the years. We are thankful for the school bus drivers who daily are entrusted to transport our most precious passengers, our students, to and from school. My staff and I are scheduled to be in the House of Parliament tomorrow, Thursday afternoon at 5 p.m. to respond to questions posed by the members of Parliament regarding the status of our schools for the school year 2018-2019, as well as the state of our sports and arts facilities and programs. I invite you to tune in via radio, television, or social media for your direct updates on these matters. I just want to alert the public that my Facebook account was hacked by somebody out there, impersonating me and soliciting funds through Messenger. If someone contacts you telling you that the United Nations has a disaster fund to help you rebuild after the hurricane, and that all you need to do is register by paying $1,000 to access the fund, don't do it. After paying this amount, you'll be asked to pay another fee. And so they will continue to milk every cent out of you, and by the time you know it, you would have spent all of your money and sent all of your money to this individual. And you would not have received a cent yourself. Don't be duped or tricked into sending money to me. I have not made such a post or sent such a message, neither personally nor in my capacity as minister. I'm thankful for the members of the community who contacted me about this Face account, which has since been reported to Facebook, and they're looking into this matter. Since I have a name and an address in the USA, I'm considering legal action against this person. We sincerely apologize for any inconvenience this situation may have caused. Currently, we are monitoring Hurricane Michael and the impact it may have on our students in our partner city, Tallahassee, in Florida. The Category 4 storm is projected to pass through that region sometime later today. My Cabinet Chief of Staff, Peter Gittins, and I have made contact with some of the students there and with the St. Martin Tallahassee Student Association advisor. The staff of the Division Study Financing is also in close contact with our students. We have 70 students in Tallahassee at this time. All students who live off campus have been advised to check into a public shelter. The Cabinet is working on a plan to move students out of the area after the hurricane, should this become necessary. Some students who had moved into a hotel were advised to move to the shelters provided by the school. My Cabinet is in contact with the student advisor and also with the office of the mayor. I have been assured that protocols were put in place and procedures were communicated to all our students. It is our hope that everyone in the area made adequate preparations for this strong hurricane. We encourage all persons facing the storm to stay safe. We're praying with you for their safety. My staff and I will continue to keep you updated regularly, and for more information you can go to the Facebook page of the Ministry of Education, Culture, Youth and Sports for live updates. And we also hope to be able to have live contact with our students in Tallahassee later in the day. We are certainly going to overcome together. Thank you very much for watching and for listening, and do have a pleasant day.
Thank you, Minister Smith, for your opening remarks. At this time, I invite the Minister of Finance, the Honorable Perry Hearlings, to address you. Minister Hearlings.
Thank you, Ms. Roach. Good morning to my colleagues. Good morning to the esteemed press corps. Good morning, St. Martin, viewers and radio listeners. Today I would like to how do you say that? I would like to present the promise that I made to you, the people of St. Martin, that I will present you with our financial recovery plan, which is the financial translation of our governing program. And today, on the 10th day of October 2018, quite symbolic, is the day that this plan will be presented to you, and you will find the plan in its full capacity later today on the government website around 4 o'clock. But it's good to report and to ask yourself the question, where are we now and how did we get here? As you know, St. Martin gained status of country within the Kingdom of the Netherlands as per 10 October 2010, with a collective debt as a country of 400 million guilders. During the period 2010 until the mid-2017, our collective debt increased with 40 million due to accumulated budget deficit as a result of a lack in proper public management, financial management, and less than expected compliance of our citizens and companies. In 2017, St. Martin was struck by hurricanes Irma and Maria, resulting in a destructive state of our island and presenting us with a related additional deficit estimated at approximately 320 million guilders. Our recovery and resilience efforts after the hurricanes have been estimated at 4.2 billion guilders. So what are the risks that we face if we look at this information? I identified 4 major risks. The first is severe budget shortages of our government, worsening public financial management. 3, unfunded social security and pension plans. And 4, maybe even the most important one, no well-being for our citizens. Having taken all this into account, you know, it was necessary that we came up with a plan to recover as soon as possible. So today, again, on the 10th day of October, on this symbolic day, I make up for my promise and to present you hereby with the financial recovery plan. And the recovery plan is drafted in the philosophy that time to change the course. Changing course, putting our house in order, and requesting additional support and financial assistance. The objectives during this governing period are from 2018 till 2019, we are on the on-go with the restructuring and recovering of St. Martin. From the year 2020, it is the intention through this plan to reach a balanced budget. And then from 2021, we should be able to compensate past budget deficits with budget surpluses. And to reach the objectives, the following steps will be taken. Through taking the first step and carrying our first responsibility, first our own responsibility. That is very important in this. We will do it ourselves, but also with the assistance of. But initially, it starts with ourselves. And we identified 7 major points of achievement. And the first one is achieving a balanced budget by 2020 and realizing a surplus in 2021. The second point is financing part of our governing program initiatives. The third, improving our public financial management. Those are the three major points that we need to take care of ourselves. That will create a fundament and a stability on our end firstly. But then, because of the magnitude, the financial magnitude that we are facing right now, we will need additional help. And help doesn't necessarily mean that we need money to receive money, but we need help and assistance to get additional loans that we will take upon ourselves to get them approved in the current financial framework that we are operating in. Another point is that we need to get granted the necessary financial assistance for the initiatives in our governing program. Another point is that lending of funds for jump-starting our economy and execution of projects. These three segments of the recovery plan need the support that would come out of negotiations and talks with the Netherlands and the CFT. As you know, we are under financial higher supervision. For us to engage and enter into loans, we need to get the advices from CFT and the ultimate approval from the Kingdom Council of Ministers. So these are the three major steps that we will be discussing, or I will be discussing together with the Prime Minister on our trip to the Netherlands. That will take place next week. But after all these first 6 steps that I mentioned, there are additional steps that we need to take. That means that we will need to seek internationally other loans and grants for the remaining gap of the governing program, including the NRRP. You see, right now we have granted a total amount of $550 million US. But if you look at the overall damage and the monies that we need to recover, we will need an additional close to $1 billion. Now, if we would have the opportunity to get the additional bill, we would be able to take care of things, you know, ASAP. However, if we take care of our own things first, take up our responsibility first, we might not even need that amount of money. But we should be enabled to, for instance, revamp our tax department and our financial department. This is so necessary also to be able to support the other ministries to execute the plans that they have in the recovery of Sint Maarten. This is a short synopsis of the financial recovery plan, ladies and gentlemen. I would really want to refer you to the plan that will be published on the government website later this afternoon. And I'm open for any questions that the press corps might have. Again, this plan is the financial translation of the governing program. It stipulates that we are in charge of our own destiny and that we will remain in charge of our own destiny. But we are all also understand that we will need help and support from outside. And the plan is a roadmap to the betterment of our financial household and in the end of Sint Maarten in its recovery efforts. I thank you very much, and I'm looking forward to any questions that you might have. Good morning.
Thank you, Minister Geerlings, for your opening remarks. At this time, I invite the Prime Minister and Minister of General Affairs, the Honorable Leona Romeo Marlin, to address you. Prime Minister.
Thank you, Ulrike. Present, good morning to my colleagues, ministers present, the media, good morning, Sint Maarten. I have a few announcements this morning. First being that I travel to the Netherlands to have several discussions and meetings, which include the establishment of a St. Martin militia, e-governance, technical assistance, Kingdom Council of State, the VNG, a meeting with State Secretary Knops, and as the minister indicated, a meeting concerning the finances of St. Martin. The Ministry of General Affairs will be hosting a Constitution Day ecumenical church service with the theme, Building Our Nation on the Principles of God. The church service will be held this evening, October 10th, 2018, at 7 p.m. at the Christian Fellowship Church in Coal Bay. I therefore officially extend an invitation to the public, and I look forward to your attendance as we observe Constitutional Day. An update on the Caribbean OCT Resilience Summit, as I previously announced, with the support of the European delegation in Guyana and the European Commission Directorate General of Development Cooperation, St. Martin will be hosting a Caribbean Overseas Countries and Territories Resilience Summit 2018 with as theme Unite, Prepare, Adapt on Thursday, October 25th. The summit is divided in 3 subtopics, Unite, Prepare, Adapt, which create a progressive theme for the event, each topic building on the next to come to a potential solution. The concept behind the subtopics is as follows. Unite, stronger together. Though the Caribbean consists of many small island nations, countries, and territories with different historical and current realities, we share many similarities as SIDS, or small island development states, not the least important being climate change. In the segment titled Unite, the objective is to identify means of strengthening the individual islands through a united approach to become a stronger and more resilient region. On the subject of prepare, fail to prepare, prepare to fail. Our climate is changing, and the Caribbean will be one of the zones on this planet to feel the effects first. Furthermore, the Caribbean region is prone to a multiple of potential natural disasters that can severely disrupt daily life. In the segment titled Prepare, the objective is to dissect the topic of preparation to reveal a more attainable concept of unified preparation. And lastly, Adapt, bend or break. To adapt is to accept a new reality and adjust our approach to how we shape our lives, but also to rise again after disaster strikes. In the segment titled Adapt, the goal is to stimulate our leaders to start thinking differently about what it means to be resilient. The OCT Resilience Summit will include with the signing of the financing agreement of the 11th EDF Caribbean Regional Program on Resilience, Sustainable Energy, and Marine Biodiversity. Lastly, I would like to ask the people of St. Martin to pray for the protection and safety of our students residing in Tallahassee, Florida, as they embrace for the impact of Hurricane Michael that has been upgraded to Category 4. As the Minister of Education, Culture, Sports indicated, close contact is being kept with the students, and we will be given an update accordingly. I ask again that the general public, we keep our students in prayer and the people of Florida in its totality in prayer as well. I thank you and I await the questions from the media. Thank you.
Thank you, Prime Minister, for your opening remarks. If you've just joined us, you are watching the live Council of Ministers press briefing. We now move on to the question and answer session. Stephen Cerillion of PJ82 Radio, you have the floor.
Excellencies, good morning. My question is for the Minister of Finance. Very interesting, but most of all, I would say ambitious financial St. Martin. You spoke of the deficit since 2010 up to now. Where would you put the financial deficit of St. Martin at this time overall, Minister?
Thank you for the question, Stephen. As you know, I've presented the 2019 budget last week to the Council of Ministers, where it was approved. It's now in the, let's say, the legal protocol trajectory to make its way to the House of Parliament for debate, discussion, and approval. I got a similar question last week on the numbers of the budget, and I mentioned then that I would like to refrain from sharing that information until it went to the Council of Ministers, but that also counts or goes for the Parliament. But, you know, I think it's fair that people really want to know that, you know, where we stand as on the deficit side. I will share that with you. At this moment, or at least projected for the 2019 budget, we will have a deficit of around 89 million guilders. That's substantially less than we had before, and I'm very proud that we are able to reach that stage. So that is, at this point, the deficit projected for the fiscal year 2019. Thank you.
Thank you, Minister of Finance. Lyndon Brown of BCN TV, you have the floor.
Good morning to the people of St. Martin and to the ministers. To the prime ministers, we have friends and family and children in the States, in America. Hurricane Michael is approaching, and I heard you said the people of St. Martin, the government of St. Martin, are reaching out to those 70 students. In case the hurricane hit hard, do you have plan in like bringing back the student to St. Martin? Because we acquainted with hurricane, we know what can happen.
I think the Minister of Education can answer that question.
Thank you very much, Mr. Brown. Yes, we are very concerned about the students there. As I said, we have 70 students. We have been through a hurricane ourselves not too long ago, so we know what it means. As we speak, plans are being made to move students if it becomes necessary, either north of Tallahassee or south, or even to bring them back home. Those plans are now being discussed with travel agents.
Thank you, Minister Smith. We now move on to the second round of questions. Stephen Cyrillian, you have the floor.
Staying with the Minister of Finance, Minister, as it pertains to your financial plan, you said that in order to make our financial situation better, loans will have to be acquired and what have you. Since the passage of Hurricane Irma, how much loan has been acquired by St. Martin?
Thank you again for that question, Stephen. The only loans that we have acquired so far are the loans that we needed to engage in regarding the liquidity support to government. Those, as you know, are 30 years loans, 0 interest, and a 5-year grace period. Those are so far the loans that we attracted. However, the loans that I am referring to, among others, in the financial recovery plan, has to do especially with loans that we need to reboost the economy, to be able to get, for instance, the tax department, you know, on a higher compliant level, the Department of Finance. Those are the loans that we need to attract. Now, for us to be able to get those loans, we need to make the plans. The plans are there, but we need the advice from the CFT and the approval of the Kingdom Council of Ministers. The idea behind, or one of the ideas behind the financial recovery plan is that we need to discuss with those two bodies the possibilities to, to ease up a little bit, because these are extraordinary times, and we need to we have to take extraordinary measures. So for us to be able to expedite more, we need to be able to get the loans that also causes us to stay in charge of our own destiny. Because once you have the loan, you take and bear the responsibility yourself. And therewith, there's no dictation from whoever, from wherever. So that's the whole idea behind it. But so far, the loans attracted are only those pertaining to liquidity support for countries St. Maarten. Thank you.
Thank you, Minister Geerlings. Lyndon Brown, you have the floor.
To the Prime Minister, again. Prime Minister, we are celebrating 10-10-10. Is there any evidence that statistic that things have improved and we have a reason to celebrate? It have been surfacing that a lot of people are disappointed. Could you tell us something, give the people hope and guide them where things have improved so far?
Thank you for that question. What have improved? Well, since the referendum, we are definitely not in the same situation that we were in before, a choice that the people of St. Maarten made. Secondly, we had the opportunity to build from scratch certain entities, such as the Justice, something that we didn't have. That is something for us to be proud of. We have the opportunity now to, and I think that every government thus far have implemented certain things that for the improvement of St. Maarten. So I can't say that we are more financially responsible for our finances, so we don't have to depend on other entities anymore. For example, how it was in the Netherlands Antilles. So when we talk about improvement, yeah, we have improved. Can it be better? Of course it can be better, but it's a process. Whether we're in this situation, this status, or we go into another status, it's always a development process. So have there been improvement? I must say that there has been improvement. We have taken on certain responsibilities that we didn't have before, and that alone is an improvement.
Thank you, Prime Minister. We now move on to the third round of questions. Stephen Cerulean, you have the floor.
Prime Minister, we have been hearing about the dilemma of the Minister of Romy. Can you shed some light as to what's taken place there for us?
The dilemma of the Minister of Romy. What can I say about that? Actually, there's nothing to say at this current moment in time. The Minister of Romy is still the Minister of Romy, and should any measures be taken, it will be the Minister of Romy that will make that decision. So at this current time, there's nothing more that I can say on that subject matter. But I thank you for the question.
Thank you, Prime Minister. Lyndon Brown, you have the final question.
Quick question to the Minister of Finance. You have stated that the money is the grant that St. Maarten get from the World Bank is not enough. And you will be asking for more money. In which you're going to be asking for money from the Dutch, from any other entity? Do you have the right to that, to help the recovery?
Thank you, Mr. Brown. As an autonomous country, St. Maarten has all the rights to ask for help from whoever. However, seeing our financial past, financial management past, we have a financial higher supervision over us. Those were agreements that we made when we became an autonomous country. It goes for Aruba and Curacao as well. But that doesn't prevent us from having the right to enter into loan agreements if needed. But there are some protocols that we need to follow to be able to reach at that stage that you can attract loans. And yes, we need additional funding. We receive $550 million. We need close to $1 billion more. But through the financial recovery plan, and as you notice, the amount of deficit that we made up quite some of the deficit already, with the revamping of our tax department and other institutions of St. Martin, we will be able to gain more grounds on the deficit on our own. If those right now, including the Netherlands, cannot facilitate us on the lending part of it, it is an option, and we are free to engage in talks with third parties to do so. You know, we have the European Community, we have other institutions than the World Bank, or, you know, where we can go for support where that is concerned. So yes, we can enter into loans with other parties than the Netherlands. But for the sake of clarity, we are already in this relationship with the Netherlands. That is the party that we will approach first, and mainly on easing up of the regulations that we are under to be able to attract the loans for which we are solely responsible.
Honorable Ministers of the Council, members of the media, radio listeners, and online viewers, this brings us to the end of the Live Council of Ministers press briefing for today, Wednesday, October 10th, 2018.